Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Coast. My name is Bridie, and for today's practice we're going to need a block, or maybe just grabbing yourself a large cushion or a couple of large books that you could use in replacement for a block. We're going to begin in our wide-legged child's pose towards the back of our mat. So just bringing your big toes together, taking your knees out wide and coming to reach the fingertips forward, resting your forehead down onto the mat. Yeah, just taking a moment to allow the body to arrive and settle in. And starting to connect with your breath. And finding this connection by first just observing your natural breath. And can you allow your breath to start to reach beyond the chest, beyond the belly? Just notice any other sensations as your breath travels through your body where you may feel tight or stiff. Can you use the breath to massage out these areas in your body, creating space with every inhale, just releasing tension on every exhale. And starting to bring awareness to your spine. Can you sense the very top of the spine connected to the base of the skull? And can you start to allow your breath to travel down the natural curvature of the spine, maybe here a little rounded in our child's pose, all the way down, sensing the very tip of your tailbone. As you start to draw your breath down into the tailbone, start to expand the breath into the lower back. Just finding a few more conscious breaths like this, expanding breath through the lower back and feeling the sit bones draw back towards the heels on your exhale as you start to relax. Maybe feel the heart melt closer towards the mat. Maybe the forehead lifts as you gain more length through the spine. And on your next exhale, just starting to walk both of your hands over towards the right, finding a side body stretch here. We can bring the left hand on top of the right to interlace the fingers. Just drawing back into the left sit bone and starting to draw the left armpit down towards the mat. And finding a nice deep stretch down the left side of the body all the way down into the left hip. And as you exhale, walking the hands back through center, taking them all the way over to the left. Again, we can find that stack of right hand on top of left, maybe interlace the fingers. And then we draw our weight back into the right sit bone. Start to draw the right armpit down to the mat. We find that full breath down the right side of the body. And then exhale, release, walking the hands back through center, taking a breath in. And then as we exhale, lifting through the forehead, coming to thread the right arm underneath the chest, dropping the right cheek down towards the mat, threading the needle here. Option to hold with left fingertips extended forward as you inhale, start to reach the left fingertips high. Maybe finding a bind with your right hip crease as you flip the hand, bringing the palm maybe to wrap around the right thigh. And on your next inhale breath, we unwind, reach the left fingertips high. As you exhale, plant the palm in front of the face, opening through the chest. As you inhale, ground the left hand, right fingertips reach, open the chest. And as you exhale, floating right hand back to meet the left. 2 more openings with your breath. Inhale, right fingertips reach high. And exhale, right hand comes to meet the left. Inhale, right fingertips reach. On your exhale breath, come to ground the hand behind the lower back. As you inhale, start to lift the hips from the heels, reaching the left fingertips up and overhead. Full breath down the front of the body. And as you exhale, releasing the hips back towards the heels, we cartwheel the hands forward. Find your wide child's pose. Taking a breath in, again, all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. And starting to firm into the right palm. This time we weave the left arm underneath the chest, dropping left cheek down to the mat. Option again, we keep right fingertips forward. As you inhale, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. We can hold or we flip the palm, binding with the left hip crease. Thinking about drawing that right shoulder open and reaching bright with the left fingertips as though you're trying to take the left shoulder blade away from the spine. And as you inhale, reaching right arm high. We find that half push-up as we ground the right palm. Inhale, left fingertips reach as we open through the chest. And exhale, floating left hand back to meet right wrist. Maybe gaze follows fingertips. Inhale, open. And exhale, release. Inhale, left fingertips reach. As we exhale, plant the left palm behind the lower back. We inhale, lift the hips from the heels. Right fingertips lift up and overhead. And exhale, release hips to heels. Cartwheel the hands forward. Find your wide-legged child's pose. Taking a full breath in. And as you exhale, come to rise into your tabletop, bringing the knees underneath the hips. Finding our cat-cow as you inhale, start to tilt the hips forward, leading with the pelvis first. We lower the belly and open through the heart. And exhale, tucking the tail under, we curl through the spine, rippling long chin to chest. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, drawing under, chin to chest. And in 2 more rounds, inhale to cow. Exhale, cat spine. Inhale. And exhale, coming to hold in your cat spine, firming into all 4 points, pressing into the fingertips, the shins, the tops of the feet. Take another breath into the back of the body. And then as you exhale, release to a neutral spine. Take your hands about another hand's distance forward. Spread wide through the fingertips. We tuck the toes to lift to our downward facing dog. And here, bringing feet about hip distance apart. Spread all 10 toes. Maybe you find a little walk out through the legs, bending into one knee then the other. We can find a nice big wiggle from side to side through the hips. Maybe giving the head a nice big shake here. And starting to find stillness in our down dog. Start to stretch the mat forward with the fingertips. Feel that energy rise and lift into the hips. And maintaining the height of the hips, can you start to draw your tailbone down towards your heels? Finding a gentle micro bend in the elbows. Start to wrap the upper arms in towards one another. Shoulder blades rest behind the heart. And on your next inhale, lift high to the toes, gaze forward, tiptoeing forward to a forward fold. Finding a halfway lift as you reach the top, long through the spine. And then exhale, release to fold. Ground into the feet, circle arms high, inhale, palms meet overhead. And exhale, drawing your thumbs down to the heart. Circle arms high, inhale. Exhale, swan dive, folding forward. Lifting halfway, inhale. Then exhale to fold, stepping back to a downward facing dog. And taking a breath in. And as you exhale, come to lower the knees down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Continue to melt the heart as you walk the hands forward for Anahata, our puppy pose. Maybe forehead rests to the mat, keeping hips stacked over the knees here. Gentle pressure into the tops of the feet. And on your next inhale, slightly lifting through the forehead. Again, threading right arm underneath the chest, lowering the right cheek down to the mat. Option to keep left fingertips forward as we inhale, start to reach the left arm high. Maybe taking a bind with the right hip crease. And rolling open through that left shoulder. And on your next inhale, left fingertips reach high if you have your bind. Grounding, left hand in front of the face, unwind. Inhale, right fingertips reach. And moving breath by breath as we thread the needle. Exhale, right hand comes behind the left wrist. Inhale, right arm reaches high. Exhale to weave. Inhale, right arm lifts. And exhale, right hand comes underneath the shoulder. Walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, find your low plank. Take a breath in. Then exhale, lower all the way to belly. Rise into your cobra pose. Inhale, knees lift as tops of the feet press. Exhale to release. Tucking the toes under, pressing back, downward facing dog. And as you inhale, floating right leg high, three-legged dog. And curling right knee to the right elbow. Step the foot outside the pinky finger for your lizard lunge. Ground the left knee, untuck the toes. Inhale, right fingertips reach to twist. And exhale, release. Hand comes back inside the right ankle. Tucking the left toes, lift the knee. We're walking hands over to the left, finding a wide-legged forward fold. Here, just taking a dangle, we can drape the fingertips to the mat or maybe bringing hands to the forearms, finding a nice big sway from side to side. Releasing fingertips down to the mat, weight shifts forward to the tops of the feet, hug on through inner thighs, halfway lift, inhale, lengthen the spine. Then exhale to fold. Starting to turn the heels inwards, toes turn out, strong through the legs as we circle arms high to rise. And lowering down into goddess as you exhale. Again, toes are turned out, cactus through the arms. Inhale, rise, find length. Warrior two, exhale, right toes turn forward. Blade edge of back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Then flipping the front palm as we inhale, reverse our warrior. And exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. Find the ball of the back foot, runner's lunge. Deep breath in, find length through the spine. Then exhale, lengthen right leg long, folding forward. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, stepping left foot forward to meet the right forward fold. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold. Circle arms high, inhale. Swan dive to fold, exhale. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands. We step back, downward facing dog. Taking a full breath in. Then exhale, lower the knees down to the mat. Untucking the toes, continue to melt the heart all the way down, maybe grounding forehead or chin and chest. And on your next breath in, ground into right palm. We're threading the left arm underneath the chest. Finding our thread the needle once again. Choosing to keep arms extended forward, or we inhale, reach the right arm high. Taking that option to bind with your left hip crease. And on your next inhale, unwind, right fingertips reach. Exhale, grounding right hand in front of the face. Unwind, left fingertips reach, high inhale. And moving breath by breath. Exhale, weaving left hand behind the right wrist. Inhale, open. Exhale, we weave behind the right wrist. One more, inhale, open. And exhale to weave. Inhale, unwind, left fingertips reach. Exhale, releasing left hand under the shoulder. We walk the hands forward for our low plank. Inhale, hold strong. And exhale, elbows brush beside the rib cage as we lower to belly. Rise into your cobra. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale to release. Toes tuck under, hips press back, downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, floating left leg high, three-legged dog. Drawing left knee to the left elbow, we step the foot outside the pinky finger for our lizard lunge. And starting to lower the right knee down to the mat, untuck the toes. Ground the right palm, inhale, left fingertips reach high. And exhale, releasing left hand inside the left ankle. Tucking the right toes, lift the knees. Start to walk the hands over to the right for our wide-legged forward fold. Toes are tracking inwards, heels turn out. So we're pigeon-toed at the feet. Weight is shifting forward towards the tops of the feet. Again, taking your dangle, maybe this time find the opposite bind of hand to elbow so it'll feel a little awkward with your chosen grip. And just tucking the chin, let the crown dangle down towards the mat. And releasing fingertips down, we find length through the spine, inhale. And as you exhale, we start to turn the heels in towards one another, toes turn out strong through the legs as you circle arms high to rise. And then releasing into goddess, exhale, we lunge into the knees, finding big toes inside the knees as we externally rotate through the hips. And lengthen through the legs, inhale, reach the arms high. Warrior two, blade edge of back foot parallel, left toes turn forward to the front of the mat. Pressing out through each fingertip, maybe gazing over the left fingertips. Then flipping the front palm as you inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. Lifting long through the spine, inhale. Exhale, ground the left heel, lengthen the left leg long, peel the toes towards your face. Inhale, find your runner's lunge. And exhale, stepping the right foot forward, fold forward. Lifting halfway, inhale. Exhale to fold. Circle arms high to rise, inhale, palms meet. And exhale, thumbs draw down towards the heart. From here, we're stepping our feet a little wider than the hips, preparing for Malasana, our yogi squat. As we inhale, reach the fingertips high. And as you exhale, we lunge down into the knees, bringing elbows inside the thighs. And feeling a gentle pressure of thighs to elbows, but then pressing the elbows into the thighs. And grounding the outer edges of the feet, can you start to lift through the inner arches? And slightly retracting through the shoulder blades, so wrapping them around the spine, we come nice and broad through the chest. Again, sending your breath all the way down to the very tip of your tailbone. Releasing any tension on the exhale breath. It can be a little bit uncomfortable here. Finding 2 more breaths to hold. As you exhale, releasing hands to the mat, start to lift through the hips, stepping back to your plank. And choosing to lower knees or toes, take a vinyasa to downward facing dog. And from our downward dog, floating right leg high, inhale. And starting to draw the right knee to the right wrist, we lower into our pigeon pose. Option to take your deer by drawing the left knee to the right foot, or extend the left leg out long, keeping the right hip grounded to the mat. Maybe it's enough to stay upright, flexing through the right ankle, just protecting through the right knee joint. Or we can choose here to start to fold over the right leg. You can always stack the fist to bring the forehead to the fist, or if you have your prop, you can release the forehead to your prop. And starting to walk the hands back in towards the hips, rising the chest. And we're swinging the left leg forward, taking a shoelace twist, so bringing the left foot outside the right thigh. Grounding the left hand behind the lower back, we inhale, lift tall. And as we exhale, we can either keep the torso forward, just hugging the right knee in towards the right armpit, or we can begin to twist as we gaze over the left shoulder. And if you have your twist, start to bring the gaze forward, release the chest forward. Finding our cow face fold, start to stack the left knee on top of right, or we find a cross-legged position with right leg in front of the left. Again, we can stay seated upright, or as you exhale, start to drape the body forward over the knees. And coming to rise the chest, walking hands back to frame the hips. And we're swinging the left leg long behind to unwind. And tucking the left toes, stepping back, downward facing dog. You you find that nice pedal out through the feet, a little wiggle from side to side through the hips. And then finding stillness in your down dog as we inhale, rising the left leg high. Drawing left knee to the left wrist, we lower into our pigeon or our deer pose. Taking that minute here to allow the body to adjust, maybe staying upright. Or when you feel ready, you can find that fold over the left thigh, left knee, left shin, wherever it falls. Just starting to wind down, smoothing out the breath, reconnecting back in. Starting to even out every inhale and every exhale. Walking hands back in towards the hips, we rise through the torso. We're swinging the right leg forward for our shoelace twist, placing the right foot outside the left thigh. This time we ground the right hand behind the lower back. Inhale, we find length through the spine first. And then hugging that right knee to the left armpit, or maybe we find a full twist as we come to look over the right shoulder. If you're in your twist, start to unwind. We send our gaze forward first, then releasing the chest and finding that stack of right knee over left for our cow face fold, or we cross the right leg in front of left. So staying upright, finding even weight through both sit bones, or starting to drape the body forward over the knees. And rising the belly from the thighs, lifting back to a seat. And just starting to unravel through the legs, bringing the feet about hip distance apart, finding a nice windshield wiper out through the legs. And when you feel like you've had a nice release through the hips, just bringing feet hip distance apart, bending into the knees, starting to take the hands behind the thighs. Find an inhale to open through the chest, preparing to roll onto our back as we tuck the tail, start to round the spine, chin to chest, coming to lower all the way down onto your back. And here, releasing the hands down by your sides, start to walk the heels in towards the glutes, still keeping hip distance apart, making sure knees are tracking hip distance apart. Finishing with a supported bridge pose, grabbing a hold of your prop and starting to draw under at the tail as you lift through the hips. And placing your pillow, your block or your books, whatever you have underneath your sacrum. Just making sure both of your sacroiliac joints are covered with your prop. Allowing the whole weight of your pelvis to fall onto your prop. And choosing to either keep arms down by your side or you can come to lift and release your arms up and overhead. Here I invite you to close down your eyes. Again, just reconnecting with your breath. Feeling that nice opening through the chest, through the front of the body for the breath to move. And taking the option to stay here for the rest of your practice. Otherwise, just starting to ground into the feet, lifting the hips from the block. Lowering the spine all the way back down to the mat. Maybe finding a knock of the knees in towards one another just to release through the lower back. Maybe you feel the need to hug the knees in towards the chest. Option here to take a twist, maybe a happy baby pose. When you feel ready, you can find your final resting pose, Savasana, either keeping a bend in the knees just as we are, or finding length through the legs, taking the feet out wider than the hips. And keeping hands to the belly or resting arms long down by your side, palms facing up. Gentle walk of the shoulder blades in towards one another. Finding a nice big expansion of breath all the way down to your toes, to your fingertips. And as you exhale, finding rest as you release any remaining tension in the body, allowing your whole body to melt and sink into your mat. Now that you know here when it's time to come out of Savasana. As always, I invite you to stay here for longer if you have the time. Otherwise, just starting to find a little movement through your fingers, through your toes, maybe a little rock of the head from side to side. And finding a gentle roll over to one side if you wish to rise and finish your practice in a seat. And from our seat, taking a nice big stretch, reaching arms up and overhead, bringing palms to touch. And as you exhale, bringing your thumbs down to your third eye center, repeating in your mind, I create my own reality. And bringing your thumbs to your lips, I speak my truth. And bringing your thumbs to your heart, I follow my heart. And finishing our practice with a cycle of breath together, taking a nice deep inhale, filling the lungs completely. Nice full breath out, bowing our heads down in gratitude for our practice together today. Namaste. And thank you for practicing with me. If you enjoyed this class, just clicking like or subscribing to my channel or leaving a little comment. I'd love to hear from you as to how you felt at the end of your practice. Thanks.